Is the everything bubble about to pop? That was the title of a MacroWatch video published 6 weeks ago. Events since then strongly suggest that the answer to that question is yes. In fact, a very meaningful deflation of the everything bubble has already destroyed trillions of dollars of wealth in just the last 2 weeks. The questions that must be asked now are, how severe will the crash be? And will the economy collapse into a new Great Depression? When asked if the U.S. economy would enter a recession this year during a Fox News interview on Sunday, President Trump replied, "I hate to predict things like that. There is a period of transition because what we're doing is very big." If the Trump administration's policies pop the global economic bubble that's been inflating for decades, the period of transition may more closely resemble the dark ages than a couple of difficult quarters. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent also had a chilling message for Americans in a long CNBC interview on Friday. He said, "Could we be seeing this economy we inherited roll a bit? Sure. Look, there's going to be a natural adjustment as we move away from public spending to private spending. The market and the economy have just become hooked. We've become addicted to this government spending, and there's going to be a detox period. There's going to be a detox period." Bessent continued, "We're trying to transition from public to private. We're going to have safe and sound regulation to get our banking system going again. So the banks should be generating loans to private companies. Employment should be from private companies, not from government. And I'm confident if we have the right policies, it will be a very smooth transition." Detox is never a smooth transition. Detox is defined as a process or period of time in which one abstains from or rids the body of toxic or unhealthy substances. The unhealthy substance being referred to here is government spending. What this administration fails to understand, but will soon discover, is that this unhealthy substance is the lifeblood of our economy. If it's toxic, it's a toxicity that the economy can't live without. To abstain from it would be suicidal. This chart shows government spending from 1962 to 2024. It jumped 47% in 2020 compared with 2019 and has remained high ever since. This is the same chart, but it starts from the year 2000. The large increase in 2009 to 2012 prevented a Great Depression when the private sector defaulted on its debt and all the banks began to fail. The large increase in 2020 prevented another Great Depression during the COVID pandemic. The surge in government spending is the main reason the economy has grown rapidly after 2020. Nominal GDP was 35% larger in 2024 than in 2019. This chart shows that government spending makes up 23.1% of GDP. This chart shows GDP in black and government spending in green, side by side. Government spending makes up 23% of GDP. The problem with cutting government spending is that when the government spends less, the private sector, households and businesses, receive less money. So they spend less and invest less, and the economy shrinks. That's why China has never been able to transition its economy away from being driven by government-directed investment spending to being driven by private consumption. A reduction in the former causes a reduction in the latter.